Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Happy Friday. Today's devotional sits right after Nathan confronts David about Bathsheba and Uriah. Nathan tells David his sin has consequences, and the child born to him in Bathsheba will die. What happens next is in 2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 15 through 23. When Nathan says the child will die, David fasts. He lies on the ground and he does this for 7 straight days while the child is sick, refusing food, refusing to get up, begging God to spare the boy's life. His own men get worried about him. And on the seventh day, the child dies. David gets up, he washes, he eats, he goes to worship. His men are confused because he mourned harder before the death than after it. David tells them, while the child was alive, he had a reason to hope and to plead. Once the child was gone, pleading couldn't change anything. And that's the moment behind Psalm 139, verse 23, 24, the prayer we're looking at today. David has just been on the ground flat for the whole week. And when he gets up, he asks God to search him. And this morning, I want to start with a simple idea. And I want you to really think about it before moving on. Suffering is what happens when something you trust falls apart. You might say you trust God. You might even write it down and stick it on your computer to remind you. But in real life, perhaps you're trusting something else. It is something you don't even think about because it has always been there, keeping everything together. Then one day that thing falls apart. It could be your reputation, your money, your wealth, your skills and abilities, maybe your education, or even your health. When what you trust falls apart, you feel suffering. Now, here is where a lot of us get this wrong. And we get it wrong in a few different ways. Some people think suffering means God is punishing them. Something bad happens, so they must have done something to deserve it. That is the first wrong answer, and it is not new. Remember Job? Job's friend said the same thing while Job was suffering and covered in ashes. Some people think suffering means nothing at all, just bad luck. The doctor tells you you have something and it devastates you. A car rear ends you at a stop sign. No meaning, no purpose, just life happening. That is a second wrong answer. It may sound true, but it leaves you alone in your pain. Then there is a third one. This one catches a lot of us, especially if we think we should have life figured out by now. We think suffering means we didn't plan our life well enough. If we had better habits, better boundaries, better self-care, we wouldn't be in this mess. It puts all the blame on you when you're already too weak to handle it. None of those are right. And here is what is really happening. Suffering shows. Suffering shows you what you are truly trusting. It doesn't mean you are being punished. It is not random. It is not a project you failed. It reveals what your life was built on. Now think about this. If a doctor tells you that you will never play golf and you don't even play golf, that is just a small annoyance. But if you're a professional golfer, someone whose job and identity are tied to the game, those same words feel like the end of everything. Same doctor, same words, very different impact. The difference is not the diagnosis. The difference is what each person was building their life on. And this is where David is when he writes these words we're looking at today. He has spent years building his own sense of safety, his own happiness, his own family, just the way he wanted it and on his own terms. And when it all fell apart, everything fell apart. In another place, he says his bones felt like dust. He ended up flat on the ground, not because God left him there, No, no, no. But because what he placed his trust in fell apart. And he wasn't God. David prays in despair, search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is anything wrong in me and lead me in the way that lasts forever. Psalm 139, 23, 24. Look at what he's asking for. He's not asking God to fix his problems first. He's asking God to look deeper. Search me, test me, show me what is really inside me. That is a strange prayer when your life is falling apart. But it might be one of the most honest prayers in the whole Bible. Here's the one thing I want you to remember today. The truth about you is worse than you want to admit. But the love God has for you is bigger than you've ever let yourself believe. Suffering can show you both of those things at once. It shows you what's broken in you. And if you let it keep working, it shows you how much God loves you. A pastor wrote about a man in the last year of his life. And this man prayed that his cancer would come back if that was what it took to bring him closer to God. Now think about that. He was not trying to pursue pain. He had already gone through surgery. He already knew how hard it would be. But in his time of suffering, he found something in God that was more valuable than comfort. There's part of God you only discover in suffering. You can't find it any other way. David got there too. After 7 days on the ground, praying for his baby, he stood back up knowing something new about God and about himself. Suffering did not destroy him. It pulled him away from what was hiding the truth. So let me ask you clearly, what is the one thing that will break you if you lost it? Now be honest, right? And name it before you move on with your day. Then pray David's prayer about that thing. Ask God to search you, not to fix your situation first, but to show you what is below the surface. Because this is what that man with cancer knew and what David learned when he stood up again. God's searching does not stop at showing your sin. It goes all the way to the cross. Jesus never fails, and he let himself be broken so you'd have someone to trust who never will, him. He did not wait for you to get back up. He came down where you were anyway. God bless you. Again, have an amazing worship this weekend, and I will see you soon.